different characters, different storylines, different seasons that still do not make sense. Jasmine shoots Gary with rubber bullets, and nobody questions it. Season 3, Episode 2, Gary dead or alive? The Season 2 finale left us with Jasmine, Gary's unhinged ex-wife, shooting him in Andy's bedroom. All summer long, fans debated whether Gary survived. And in Season 3, Episode 2, we finally get the answer. Gary is alive, but not because he's lucky. He's alive because, at some unknown point in the past, Gary had secretly replaced all the real bullets in Jasmine's gun with rubber ones. His reason? He was afraid she'd hurt herself or him. So here's the question nobody can answer. Gary knew Jasmine was dangerous. He knew she had a weapon, and his solution was not to call the police, not to remove the gun, not to get her help, but to quietly swap the ammunition and say nothing to anyone. Bullets still hurt like hell. Gary barely survived the ones he put in himself. Maurice confesses to a robbery he did not commit. Season 5, Episode 9. Maurice Webb loves Sabrina. We know that. But in Season 5, Episode 9, that love sent him straight into a situation that had the whole fandom shaking their heads. Maurice walks into the DA's office and confesses, on tape, to the Brookhaven bank robbery. The problem? He didn't rob the bank. He did. Maurice and Sabrina were hostages. They were the ones who secretly called corporate to alert the police. It gets worse. The DA didn't even believe him. He basically laughed at the confession and kept going after Sabrina anyway. Maurice torched his job, his reputation, and his future for a confession that changed absolutely nothing. Kay, the actual criminal, spent multiple seasons wearing an ankle monitor like a fashion accessory while Maurice sat in jail for someone else's crime. Hayden sleeps with Fatima once and spends 5 seasons getting her back. Season 4, Episode 16. In Season 4, Episode 16, Robin pulls off one of the show's best moments. He tricks Hayden into revealing that he and Fatima have a history. That's the setup. What comes after is where logic leaves the building. Fatima moved on. She found Zac. She built a life. And Hayden's response was to dedicate his entire professional career to destroying her. He conspired with Gary. He used Tamara as a spy. He threatened Zac's freedom. He stormed into the law office making scenes that somehow got him no consequences. By Season 6, Episode 21, Hayden was still showing up at the firm accusing Fatima of setting him up. The partners did nothing. The firm kept him employed. The audience kept watching, confused. A grown man used a partner-track legal career as a personal revenge engine over a woman who simply moved on, and nobody fired him. Danni runs over a man with her car, and nothing happens. Season 5, Episode 9 or Season 5, Episode 13. In Season 5, Episode 9, Danni tells Andy what happened with her abuser Jonah. He hit her, he spat in her face, and she, in a moment of shock, beat him and then ran over him repeatedly with her car as he tried to run away. The abuse was real. The reaction was understandable. But Jonah survived, broken ribs, in the hospital, and when police asked what happened, he told them he fell off a motorcycle. Self-preservation, not protection. So Danni faced 0 consequences. No arrest, no investigation, no charges. And by Season 5, Episode 13, when Preston finds out from the landlord that Danni hit someone with her car, that conversation goes nowhere too. She shuts it down. The show moves on. A woman ran over a man multiple times with a vehicle, and the entire legal system simply forgot about it because the victim lied to protect himself. Karen shoots Fatima, except it never happened. Season 6, Episode 12, Daydreams. The episode is literally called Daydreams, and Tyler Perry opens Season 6's back half with Karen shooting Fatima, a scene so convincing that clips flooded every platform within minutes. People were texting. Reddit was on fire. Then Karen snaps out of it. It was a fantasy. Tyler Perry pulled the same trick the Twilight finale once used, delivering a dramatic moment that turns out to be imaginary. And as their recap noted, what was most alarming was how quickly the audience believed Karen would actually do it. Here's the real issue. The tension between Karen and Fatima over Zac was genuinely great television. Ebony Obsidian and Crystal Renee Hayslett were carrying that storyline with everything they had. It didn't need a fake out. Opening the second half of the season with a fantasy deflated the real conflict and left fans feeling cheated. Fawn shoots herself inside Karen's salon. Season 5, Fawn's final confrontation. Fawn Carter, Aaron's wife, spent multiple episodes showing up wherever Karen was. Her job, her home, in public. Each time, Karen told her the same thing, leave me alone. And each time, Fawn escalated. Then Fawn shows up at the salon one final time. Karen tells her to go, and Fawn pulls out a gun and shoots herself. Right there, in front of clients. In Karen's business. The moment was meant to be shocking, and it was. But what didn't work was the runway getting there. Fawn went from angry wife confronting the other woman to this extreme conclusion in just a few episodes, without the kind of buildup that would make it feel earned. Karen, who was already dealing with pregnancy stress, a paternity situation, and salon finances, now had to process witnessing a death in her own workplace. And the show had to keep moving forward from that. It was an enormous tonal shift that left many fans stunned at the speed of it. Bayo is an African prince, and then he's just gone. Season 4, Episode 15, Bayo is a prince. In Season 4, Episode 15, we find out that Sabrina's new love interest Bayo is the Prince of Mbiktu. Their date makes front-page news overseas. There is actual speculation that Sabrina could become a future bride. Danni called him Black Panther, and Eddie Murphy rolled into one. Then in Season 5, Episode 19, Bayo returns and hands over money to help get Maurice out of jail. A literal prince is funding a bank robbery defense for a woman he's casually dating. Season 5, Episode 20, then as Calvin pointing out what everyone already felt. Bayo was using his wealth to buy his way back into Sabrina's life at her most vulnerable moment. That Sabrina kept seeing him after that dynamic was clearly identified. And then Bayo is just gone. No goodbye arc. No proper ending. A secret prince who made international headlines. Set up as a major romantic rival, written out without a proper scene. Robin pretends to be gay to stop Hayden from asking questions. Season 4, Episode 16. Hayden is digging into Robin's relationship with Andy, gathering intel for Gary. Robin needs him to stop, so Robin looks Hayden in the face and says, "You're actually more my speed." Hayden immediately backs off. The fandom absolutely lost it. But let's slow down. Robin is a partner-level attorney at a prestigious law firm. He is navigating a situation involving a man with federal connections and private investigators. And his professional strategy is to pretend to be gay in front of a colleague, not a formal HR complaint, not a counter-investigation, not leveraging the fact that Hayden already violated company policy by sleeping with Fatima. He improvises a fake sexuality, and it works. It's iconic television. It's also the least lawyerly solution a lawyer has ever come up with. Zac's paternity question drags an entire season with no answer. Season 6, Episode 19 to Season 6, Episode 22. In Season 6, Episode 19, Zac tells Fatima the honest version of what happened with Heather. He was so drunk he can't even remember arriving. The Shifter magazine recap flagged it immediately as a setup for the big paternity reveal. The show was telling us. The fans already knew. And yet, across episodes 12 through 22, we sat through Karen's own paternity drama, Sabrina's legal case, Danni and Preston, and the Heather custody situation all at the same time, with no resolution on Zac's paternity. The Season 6 finale ends with Zac and Fatima finding Heather's child abandoned and taking him. The season closes. The DNA question? Still unanswered. Fans went into the hiatus with nothing. Stretching one question. Is this Zac's baby? Across an entire season and into the next is a creative choice. But for Fatima fans, it was one of the most drawn-out and exhausting waits in the show's history. Gary's entire Season 8 villain had a high school grudge the whole time. Season 8 finale. All season long, fans were asking, who is Hudson? Why does he have power of attorney over Gary? Why is he so obsessed? Why is he blocking everyone from visiting? Why did he and Jasmine team up? The answer, revealed in the Season 8 finale. Gary bullied Hudson in high school, and Gary stole the only girl who was ever kind to him. That's the motive. That is the foundation for one of the most elaborate revenge schemes in this show's entire run. Power of attorney manipulation. A full season conspiracy with Jasmine tying up Andy and holding her at gunpoint. To be fair, Gary not even remembering Hudson from high school is actually brilliant writing. It says everything about who Gary is as a person. He destroyed someone's world and moved on without a second thought. But not one person. Not Andy the lawyer. Not Fatima the self-appointed investigator. Not Zac with his literal suspect board. Looked into who Hudson was before Gary handed him legal authority over his entire life. That's the part that still doesn't land. A full season of mystery. An electric finale. And a high school grudge at the center of it all. From fake shootings to shocking revenge plots. These unbelievable Sistas moments still leave fans completely confused today.